All right, welcome everyone. The latest jobs report has been released and it is not looking so good as the unemployment rate is ticking higher yet again and we are rapidly approaching the danger zone. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing what this means for you and your money, as well as the economy as a whole and what the Federal Reserve is likely going to be doing in their next meeting. We've got a lot to talk about here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss all the details. First off, thanks so much for liking and sharing this video with those buttons down below. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, do you know someone that may benefit from this information? If so, will you make sure to share this video with them? Again, with the share button down below. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And let's talk through it. All right, so today we got the all-important non-farm payroll number, otherwise known as the job report, for the month of July. So here we are in early August as I film this video right now, and earlier today we got this number. Now, this is a number that we get once per month, and it just so happened to be released this morning. So this is very important because, as you've probably heard me say before in other videos, or if this is your first time here on the channel, first off, welcome and thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe. But I talk about the job report all the time, which is, in my opinion, this is the number one economic factor or economic data point that I like to watch. Why? Because it gives us a big picture view of the overall economy. I mean, just think of it this way. If jobs are being created and the unemployment rate is going down, overall we probably have a pretty strong economy. If job growth is waning, in other words, less jobs are being created, less people are being hired, and the unemployment rate is going up, we probably have a weakening or softening economy. It's not that hard to figure out, right? So my point is, it gives us a pretty good look at the overall economy. Well, guess what's been going on? The last several meetings here, we've been seeing the unemployment rate ticking higher and higher and higher. And now we just got the worst reading that we've seen in almost 3 years as far as the unemployment rate. So let me tell you the exact numbers here. So the numbers that were just released this morning show that in the month of July, 114,000 jobs were created. Okay, now you might think, okay, it sounds like a lot. Well, generally that's, typically quite a bit higher than that. That's actually very low. That's the lowest number we've seen in actually a few years, so it's not that great. Now, here's what else is interesting about this as well. They also give us revisions. So what they do is they look back over the previous reports and they say, hey, we miscounted on the last report. We're revising higher or we're revising lower. Well, interestingly enough, last month, about a month ago when we got the last report out, it came in at 206,000. They revised it down by 27,000 down to 179,000 jobs. So they revised it lower. They miscounted by 27,000 people. How do you do that? I have no clue how you miscount by 27,000. I can't quite figure that one out, right? But anyway, they miscounted and they revised lower for the previous month. Now, here's what also is very important about this. The unemployment rate is now sitting at 4.3%, okay? So it went higher yet again. Now, that's the overall unemployment. But there's another unemployment number that we like to look at, which is the U6 rate. This is otherwise called the underemployment rate. In other words, people that want to be working 40 hours but are working 31. The people that want to be working 30 hours but are working 18, right? It's the underemployment rate. Does that kind of make sense a little bit? So it's not the unemployment rate, but it's the underemployment rate, if that kind of makes sense, okay? So that was sitting at 7.4%. It jumped up by 0.4% to 7.8%. That's a massive jump. You typically don't see a jump that big in a 1 month period of time. That's huge. That's big. That's really bad, okay? I'm just simply saying this much. These numbers are not really showing a very healthy and strong and robust economy. Now, there is a little bit of a silver lining here. There's also another number that comes out in this report, and it's called the labor participation rate. In other words, it shows how many people in the United States as a percentage of our population in the age range that encompasses the working population, what percentage of these people are working? Well, generally we oscillate kind of right around this 62.4, 62.5-ish range, right around there. It jumped up to 62.7. So that's actually a good thing. It simply means that more people within the age ranges of the working population, more people have entered into the workforce. That's good. We want this number to be higher. It means more people within the age ranges that should and can be working are working and, doing that, okay? That's a good thing. So that's about the only silver lining that we saw in this report here. is that number came in. Now, average hourly earnings also kind of flattened out. It didn't really raise much. It simply means that people are not, is earning as much anymore, okay? All right, so this report is not necessarily the best report in the world. I'm going to say this much, okay? As we see the unemployment rate currently sitting right now at 4.3%, that's high. The last time we saw a number this high was back in October of 2021, I believe it was, okay? My point is, that's not great, okay? And what I said earlier at the beginning of the video, we're sitting and we're approaching the danger zone. Now, sitting at 4.3%, that's okay. We're fine here, not a big deal. But as we approach 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, if we tick up to a 5% unemployment number, you're going to see absolute chaos with a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people completely losing their mind and going bananas over this thing. This is going to be nuts, okay? My point is, each month that we tick a little bit higher on the unemployment rate, we're getting a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer to the red line and that danger zone, okay? The danger zone, in my opinion, is probably right around that 4.8% and higher. If we get to a 5% handle on the unemployment rate, it's going to be a very different picture that we're looking at, right? We're going to see a lot of people, lawmakers and administration and all kinds of talking heads like this who are going to be very, very nervous, okay? Typically, a 5% unemployment rate is historically the high-ish, right? Okay, so anything kind of around that 4.5% or lower is fine, okay? It's good. It's not that bad, right? Now, 4.3% is still relatively pretty low, but it feels high considering where we've been for the last couple of years here, kind of around the mid to, mid-ish range around 3%. So we're nearly a full percent higher than where we've been sitting. So it feels very high right now, but 4.3 is not bad whatsoever. It's when we approach that 5%, that's when things start to get nuts. Now, if we get into the 5.5%, maybe upper 5 or even 6% range on unemployment, we're going to see a very, very, very different landscape in this country, okay? You're going to see the Federal Reserve massively, massively cutting interest rates, which, by the way, quick side note here as well. The Federal Reserve, by the way, sorry, my nose itched. The Federal Reserve, by the way, in this next meeting here in September, their next meeting in September is going to be, for sure, a rate cut. I would say that much for sure, for a variety of reasons. Number one, this is going to be the last meeting that they have prior to the election in early November. By the way, the next meeting they have will be the Wednesday after the election. That's kind of interesting as well. So it'll be the last one there. We're seeing the economic data cooling here. We're seeing quite a bit of cooling there as well. By the way, between now and the next Fed meeting, we're going to get 2 more inflation reports, the CPI numbers. We'll see here one in a couple weeks here in mid-August. We'll see another one in early-ish September, well, kind of mid-ish September before the meeting. And then we're also going to get one more job number in early September for the month of August as well. So we've got a lot of data points here to come out. We've got the Jackson Hole is coming up here in a couple weeks. That's coming out here in mid-August as well. We've got a lot of information coming up here in. I would be absolutely shocked if the Federal Reserve does not cut interest rates with their September meeting. I'd be surprised, and I think everybody else is kind of pricing this in as well and saying for sure that they're going to cut. Now, what does this mean for you and your money? It simply means, finally, we might get some relief on interest rates, because if they cut interest rates, that means things get a little bit cheaper, money gets cheaper, as far as like a variable interest rates, like on credit cards and lines of credits and home equity lines and just anything that's variable. Anything that's variable with an interest rate like that, it'll go down a little bit. Now remember this much as well. If you happen to be one of the fortunate people that maybe has a couple dollars sitting in a bank account like a savings account, remember, savings account interest rates will also be adjusted lower at the same time, right? They got to do that too, right? Funny how that works. But anyway, so if we really do start to see the unemployment rate ticking higher and we start to see this economy rolling over and we start to see a lot of weakness in this economy, you're going to start to see the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates aggressively going forward, because they'll have realized, we waited too long. Now we got to cut interest rates and we got to basically make money easier so that people spend money, borrow money, and stimulate the economy. That's the whole purpose behind that. Now, another thing as well. I'm going to give another little side note here, and then we're going to wrap this up, because I could literally sit here and talk about this for probably hours. It's very fascinating. I have a lot of information on this. But here's the interesting part as well, okay? If we start to see this economy unraveling very quickly here, and we could see that. Things happen very fast, as you've witnessed in the last few years here. If we start to see the economy unraveling quickly, we will definitely see lawmakers stepping forward and passing hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars worth of stimulus, not necessarily in the form of stimulus checks, but they'll do all kinds of different programs like they've done before, expanded unemployment, grants, loans for small businesses, possibly stimulus checks, expanded child tax credit payments like you saw in the video from earlier today. All kinds of things. Lawmakers do this every single time, is to stimulate the economy. So if you're somebody in the camp of looking for, praying for, asking for a stimulus check, these numbers going up, like the unemployment rate ticking higher, is like your best friend, okay? I'm just going to say that. If you're looking for a stimulus check, to see these unemployment rates going higher is like a good day for you. I'm just saying that much, okay? Because the higher it goes, the higher likelihood it comes in that they will offer some type of stimulus at some point. I'm just saying that, okay? But right now, no stimulus. I want to make that very clear. I say that all the time. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. I hope this helps you, but these are the latest numbers as of today, and we're starting to see this thing kind of unraveling a bit here, and it's getting worse and worse, which is kind of interesting, but no surprise. We knew this was coming. No shock whatsoever, right? Anyway, I hope this helps you. Please subscribe down below, share the video. Check out the other videos here on the channel, the thousands in the video library, the ones I've hand-selected for you down below in the description at the top of the comment section. Right now, pop on up your screen as well. You'll see some videos there. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Take care. Really appreciate your support, and I'll catch you again in just a minute.